What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cooking with Colby. Today it's Casual Friday, so it's a little more casual. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but someone's got to improve shareholder value, and so today we're making another delicious recipe. Today we're going to be making a completely authentic Italian recipe. It's called Tiramisu, which translates directly into pick me up because of the coffee. Today's recipe is 100% authentic. I actually learned it from an Italian woman in Italy. Unfortunately, she was speaking Italian the entire time, which I do not speak. So this is gonna be a little bit off the cuff, but it's Casual Friday, and at the end of the day, it's just sugar and wafers. How bad can it be, you know? A few alterations to this recipe. We actually will not be using coffee because I hate it and it is gross. Why would you put a layer of bitter, nasty, awful dirt in the middle of my beautiful, sweet, delicious? Also, Walmart was out of lady fingers. So, vanilla wafers, vanilla, great value vanilla wafers is what we're gonna be using today. An equal substitute that knows it's good. All right, so what we're gonna do is starting with some eggs. We're gonna need several. What you're gonna do is crack them, but be very careful about how you do this. We need to separate the whites and we need to separate the, I've forgotten the word, yolks. We need to separate the yolks and the whites. Let's begin by doing that. Oh. Oh, that's great. Good stuff. There's a little bit of dust. It's all right. So the technical way to do this is very interesting. You can buy a device that will help you do this, but if you're just a little bit careful and use some of the right finesse, you can actually separate the yolks and the whites using just the egg and its shell, and that's it. To do so, we're going to carefully crack the egg and then leaving a 50-50 cut down the middle. That way we have two halves of the egg shell. Then you just carefully open it up and let the whites fall into the bowl, and then we're going to move the yolks to the other half of the egg. Do this a couple of times, and now we're left with just the egg yolk instead of all of the whites, which we're going to add to another bowl. We're going to do this two more times. Snap it right down the middle, and then separate the whites and the egg yolks. Be very careful when you do this to not do it wrong, because that's not how you want to do it. You'd prefer to do it right. I often put the eggshells just back in the egg carton, as it makes my roommates very upset, which I find hilarious. Last one, here we go. Nice and easy. If you end up dropping one of the egg yolks into the mix of the whites, that's okay, provided you didn't break the yolk and it's all runny. You don't have to start over, and you're not quite as much of a disgrace to your family as you might think. You can just scoop it right back out with the eggshell. Now let me wash my hands real quick. It's always important to keep a very clean kitchen. That's why I make sure to wash my hands with the most Walmart generic brand soap I can find, and to keep them dried as well with the classic, everybody's favorite Dyson home dryer. Now, back to it. We've got our egg yolks and our egg whites separated. Time to get a mix in. What we're gonna start with is what I remember being 90 grams of granulated sugar. You can measure this out using your home weight scale that you have. Put the thing in the stuff. What we're gonna do is add 90 grams of sugar to the egg yolks. Take a fork, and we'll whisk that up until we get a nice creamy consistent texture. If you get a little bit of the bowl in the mixture, that's okay. Sometimes that happens because you've just kind of bought whatever Walmart happened to have. Also, I wouldn't recommend using a metal fork in a plastic bowl, as it appears to leave scrapes and scratches, some of which can actually leak some of the material back into your food. But hey, we're all full of microplastics anyway. A little more isn't gonna do much harm. Once your forearm is sufficiently exhausted from beating the crap out of these egg yolks, then we're gonna move back on to the egg whites and the mascarpone mixture. Now I know, what is mascarpone? I've never heard of it. Well, that's okay. They've got some at Walmart. You can pick it up and stop asking questions. What we're gonna be doing is adding about 500 grams, right? Yeah, 500 grams of mascarpone, which for you Walmart connoisseurs is 2 of these ones, into the 3 egg whites. And we're gonna mix that with an electric mixer till we get some stiff peaks and a rich, creamy texture. Let's get that ready. If you're looking for a little more accurate of a recipe, mascarpone usually comes with, on the back of the container, an actual recipe for tiramisu. So if you don't like this one and you're feeling a little ungrateful and rude, you can just go find your own and stop watching it. It's fine, I don't really care. Nobody knows where mascarpone came from or why everyone says it's supposedly different than cream cheese, but honestly at this point I've decided just to stop asking questions as it makes things more complicated. Now I know I'm using grams, which is a fakey foreign measurement of volume or weight or whatever the heck, but that's okay. It's actually listed on the back of the containers as well, and you can use whatever nightmare AI assistant you're stuck with currently to tell you how much you should actually be putting in. This recipe is fairly simple, but there are a lot of ways to mess it up, so make sure that you don't. Once you've gotten all the mascarpone out of the tins, it's time to take that and the egg whites and give them a quick mix with your electric mixer. Now, I don't actually have an electric mixer, but there's a quick and easy solution. This DeWalt brushless motor drill with this fork I've kind of screwed into the end will do just an amazing job of mixing everything together and really giving it that creamy, exciting texture that we're looking for. Make sure to wipe off any mascarpone and material you already have on your hands before you touch your nice roommate's drill, because you've got to put it back without him noticing that you were using it. A splash guard is recommended for this stage of the process, but if you don't have one, it's okay. Don't be afraid to give it a little bit of gas just to really make sure the speed is up to snuff. This is working just as expected, and I'm not surprised by how efficiently it is. Don't forget to have an extra DeWalt battery charged ready to go in case this one goes out. Now when it comes to using electric hand drills as hand mixers, my personal go-to is DeWalt, but the other brands are just as good. It really doesn't matter. And don't bother cleaning the drill. Just make sure that the fork is clean and you're good to go. And there we go. Works like a charm every time. Now, once we've got our delicious mixed up mascarpone and egg whites here, and the mix of our beautifully, slightly plastic filled, man, that's concerning, egg whites and sugar mixture, we're gonna add them right together and prepare the final little bit. Now, for this part, you are going to need a container to put the finished tiramisu in. This is where the lady fingers come in. Or in this case, great value vanilla wafers. Very, very good. Feel free to sample while you're eating. Now normally you dip these in a coffee before you make it, but I don't like coffee, and we're not doing that, and screw you. So we're just gonna layer them in here dry. No, they're kind of dry. Oh, that's good, that's better. Start out with just a nice, simple layer. Don't want to double it up and make it too thick. We do want the vanilla wafers here to absorb some of the moisture because we're not giving them any of our own with the coffee. So it's important to keep a nice even layer so that there's nothing sandwiching in there and they can absorb a little bit of the moisture from the other 2 ingredients, providing a consistent texture and consistency throughout. Now, last thing to do is to mix both of the wets that we already made, the yellow ones and the white ones. We'll add them together give them a nice even stir so that they're all consistent, and then move on to right here. Now I know this is the bowl that had the plasticky bits in it, but it's also the bigger one, so we're gonna just shut up and use it. Now, don't forget to mix them both together so that you get a nice, even, creamy texture. Excuse me, I'm having a lot of, Remember, a half pull on the drill can be enough just to get a little bit of a stir going on. You don't need to go crazy this time, and we already know that this bowl is prone to flaking. If your fork becomes a little uncentered, it's important to loosen the drill and center the fork back up before it becomes such a wild, erratic motion that it flings the mascarpone mixture all over the kitchen, making a huge mess that your roommates will not enjoy cleaning up. Right in the center there, in between the little tongs that would normally grab the drill bit. You don't have to be super precise, but try and get it as centered as you can. Twist the end till it clicks, and if that's not quite enough, you can always just give up. Now, what we're gonna be doing next is adding this delicious texture right back into here, and to really create the whole ensemble together, we're gonna be doing it in layers. Now, just grab a fork and start pouring it in. We'll be doing one layer of the mascarpone mixture and a second layer of the ladyfingers right after. That's just looking excellent. Let's put some more of the vanilla wafers on there, shall we? Delicious. It's kind of a soupy, puddingy mix, which is exactly how the Italians envisioned it being. Feel free to add the rest of the mixture and get ready to refrigerate it for just a few hours. There we go. We've got the whole bowl cleaned out, and as the final touch, we're gonna add just a dash of cocoa powder right to the top of our beautiful tiramisu. Now you don't want to go too heavy with this because you don't want a ton of the chocolate flavor coming through, just a touch at the top as you begin to enjoy. The dust is everywhere. So we're just going to put a little bit on the top. There we go. What a beautiful Italian delicacy we just put together. This is exactly the sort of recipe that normally you'd have to pay quite a pretty penny for at some authentic Italian restaurant, but from the comfort of your own home and with some of your own tools, you can really bring Italy back into the US. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is pop this in the fridge for about 5 to 8 hours, let it chill for a little bit, take it on out and have a bite. See you then. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a few hours here on Colby's Kitchen and we're ready to go check out that tiramisu we've been working on. Now, originally we are supposed to put it into the fridge for about 5 to 8 hours, but I didn't want to do that, so instead, to speed up the process, a little cooking hack for you, I tossed it in the freezer. Let's have a look, shall we? There we go. Just as we put it in, the dish is pretty cold and you can see the only thing really moving around right there is just that cocoa on top. Try a quick bite. Yeah. Cocoa is pretty bitter, but the vanilla wafer is still quite delicious. Now, to get this out, it's gonna be a bit of a struggle because it's firmed up just a little bit more than you would normally like a tiramisu. We're gonna have to really put in a little bit of elbow grease. Now remember, always do this sort of thing at home with a lot of people around you and preferably a lot of stimulation and noise so that you really can just get in the mode and don't really have to worry about what's gonna happen if you miss or slice your thumb open or something like that. Just get it. So I was able to get the knife in there pretty good, but it's quite a thick material. And so I think just to help us really get the tiramisu out, get it ready to plate and serve to our guests, what we're gonna be doing is actually removing the tiramisu out of the container. And the most effective way to do that, instead of using this knife, is just going to be to remove the container. Well, we need to stop being a container. So we're gonna take this outside real quick. I've actually got something set up just for this sort of situation. Okay, what we're gonna be doing is just removing this container from being a container. So below me, I've got this cement area, and as a safety tip, I've actually got this cardboard box set up with a camera so we can really see what happened. And the cardboard box should catch any glass fragments that spring out. Now, remember, as you chuck it down, don't forget to cover your eyes and look away so that you don't get any fragments anywhere you don't want to. All right, here goes. All right, guys, I think that was a perfect success. You could tell just by the flume, the powdery cloud of smoke that's come out, that we really achieved exactly what we're going for. In fact, come here, let's have a look at just how shattered this all is. And oh my gosh, perfect. Look at that. Now, be careful when picking this up. You don't want to actually hurt yourself or get any damage to your pretty little fingers. So just real carefully pick some of it up, and there we go. It's ready to plate. Just like that. Hey guys, I just want to say thanks for joining us on this Casual Friday episode of Cooking with Colby. I'll see you around in the next one. For now, I'm going to enjoy some tiramisu. It's not bad at all.